Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome here to Fort Lee as we're about to get underway as Fort Lee is going to be entertaining their visitors from Fairlawn as the Cutters come calling to take on the Bridgemen here today. Fairlawn 3-6 on the season, Fort Lee 3-3 on the year. Well, everyone, I'm Dan Lung, joined alongside by Dimitri Nanis and Renee Matisich. So glad that you could join us for another edition of Fort Lee Softball here on the Fort Lee Athletics YouTube channel. So the best portion of the year so far for the Bridgemen. They began their season 0-3, but they have now rattled off a season-best 3-game win streak. Started back on Wednesday, April 12th, when they had an emphatic 18-2 win in division against Dwight Morrow. We were here for their last home game on Monday, a thrilling come-from-behind victory. The Bridgemen were down to their final 4 outs of the game and were down by 4 runs. Yet rallied in the bottom of the 6th inning to tie the score against Hackensack and then, in walk-off fashion, delivered a 5-4 victory. Since then, they defeated arch-rival Cliffside Park 5-4 on the road on Wednesday afternoon. And now this game is going to be out of the division, but still in the Big North Conference trying to take down the Cutters and, for the first time this season, get over 500 on the year. So 3-3 the mark for Coach Bill Straub's Bridgemen. For Fairlawn, they are 3-6 on the season, led by head coach Sue Benjamin. They are trying to snap a 2-game losing streak of their own, coming off a 7-0 loss against Passaic Valley on April 19th. Also lost to Park Ridge on the 18th by a 7-3 margin. As we head now to the top of the first inning. Again, this game starting a little later than usual because of the late arrival of the visitors. Emma Schulman towing the circle here today as she's on the rubber. First pitch of the game is popped up to the right side in foul territory. Ranging over trying to make the play was Jenna Yang. Could not get to it in time. So Emma Schulman getting her first start of the season. Schulman, who's done a great job playing down at third base. The sophomore again in the circle here today. 0-1 count against Morgan Hayes, the leadoff hitter for the Cutters. As that pitch missed high to the outside, 1-1. Morgan Hayes is a sophomore, .345 hitter on the season for Fairlawn. Nubs that one foul to the right side, to the backstop, now 1-2 count against Hayes. Hayes with 1 RBI on the season has collected a season total of 10 hits, went 2 for 4 with a double in the loss the last time out against Passaic Valley. So 1-2 the count. Missed low to the outside, 2-2. That one's grounded down to third. Yang playing in will throw it over the diamond and in time for the first out of the game. So Morgan Hayes is retired with the 5-3 ground out. One away to begin the top of the first inning. That'll bring up the second place hitter in this Fairlawn lineup in Mackenzie Davis, the center fielder. Davis hitting .222 on the season, batting from the left side, as Schulman has that one float into the outside corner for a strike. 0-1 the count against Davis. Davis had a good ball game against Passaic Valley, went 2 for 3 against the Hornets in their last game. Laying off that dribbler that took a bounce right in front of home plate. The Passaic Valley Hornets shut out Fairlawn in that last game for the Cutters. 7-0. Again, Schulman with a short offering there as Davis lays off it. Fairlawn surrendering 7 runs in their last 2 games, each losses. Trying to bounce back and garner their 4th win of the season. Comebacker. Right to Schulman. She'll throw over in time. And quickly there are 2 ground ball outs for Emma Schulman making her first start of the season. 1-3 ground out for Davis. That'll bring up Kendall McNamara, the opposing pitcher, who will be hitting third in this lineup here today. McNamara, a junior, hitting .394 on the season. Has driven in 9 runs for the Cutters. Dribbled that one off the glove of the pitcher. And that's going to be safe down the first base line once it was not gobbled up by Schulman. And it caromed into the glove of Jamie West at short. You knew with the speed that McNamara possessed going down that first base line, it was not going to be in time to get her out. So that'll be an infield hit for McNamara. First hit of the day for Fairlawn, and they have a 2-out base runner here in a scoreless top of the first. That one got away from the catcher, and that's going to allow the Fairlawn runner to venture down to second base in scoring position. Amanda Federico is hitting here, fourth in the lineup in the cleanup spot. Federico, a senior, 1 home run, 9 RBIs on the season, batting .333 for Fairlawn. That one is low as well. The base runner is going to go down to third. That throw is going to get away from the third baseman. The throw home also not in time. And then eventually Kendall McNamara will score the game's first run. So McNamara, who got on base with that infield single that tipped off the glove of the pitcher, and she used her speed to leg out an infield hit. Eventually she came around to score after Fort Lee was not able to throw her out going to second. She advanced down to third and then eventually came around to score. Federico pop up right into the glove of the shortstop Jamie West, and that will end the inning, but not before Fairlawn strikes for the first run of the game, as Kendall McNamara comes around the bases and scores after a couple of misplays in the infield by Fort Lee. 1-0 your score as we head to the bottom of the first inning, as you're watching all the action here on the Fort Lee Athletics YouTube channel. One nothing lead for Fairlawn as we head to the bottom of the first inning. Now let's meet the Bridgman starting lineup here today for Coach Bill Straub. Jenna Yang playing third and leading off. Caitlin Park hitting second and playing in center field. Olivia Hausman batting third and playing at first. Ava Lee Castillo hitting in the cleanup spot and doing the catching. Emma Schulman is hitting fifth here today and doing the pitching. Bella Plout is the second baseman hitting sixth. Taylor Sahulis is the designated player hitting seventh. Ariana Papavasilio is hitting eighth and playing in left field, and Paige Eno is in right field and hitting ninth. As Bridgman will be taking on Kendall McNamara in the circle for Fairlawn. First ball swinging, Jenna Yang fouls it down the first base line. 0-1 the count. Kendall McNamara on the season, pitching to a 3.67 ERA, 61 innings of work, 52 hits allowed, 41 earned runs, and 64 strikeouts. There's a strike in the upper side, and now it's 0-2 the count against Jenna Yang. Yang, the freshman who has had an impressive start to her high school career here at Fort Lee, and starting as the third baseman today, popping it up in foul territory, ranging over to make the play, and there's one away. As Fairlawn getting the first out, courtesy of Caitlin Welch, the first baseman. There's the first pitch against Park. Caitlin Park, the center fielder, in her first at bat here for Fort Lee, trailing 1-0 against Fairlawn. As Park fails it straight back. Fort Lee had their bats be quiet for the majority of the game on Monday against Hackensack. There would be no hit and even a perfect game through 4 innings of work, but then the bats started to come alive when it mattered the most, certainly striking for 4 runs in the bottom of the 6th inning, and then they pushed across the game-winning run in the bottom of the 7th for a thrilling come-from-behind victory. Swing and a miss there by Park, and Park will be retired for the second out of the inning by McNamara. One away, first strikeout of the game for McNamara, the junior pitcher. 2 outs with nobody on base here in the bottom of the first. Brings up Olivia Hausman. Hausman takes a strike on the outer edge of the plate. Hausman is two-sport star here at Fort Lee, was part of the league championship team for the girls basketball season that saw the team produce the most wins in a single season in school history. Hausman was also a key cog in that come-from-behind victory on Monday against Hackensack. Takes that one low outside the zone. Standing in from the right side. Hausman trying to go opposite way, sailing that one foul down the right field line. For Fairlawn's defense, Grassi out in left, Davis in center. Ziali in right. Alexander down at third, Hayes at short, Lepore at second, Welch at first. As that's knocked away. Two strikes against Hausman. Hausman again will flare that one out on a line drive to right field for the third and final out of the inning. So a 1-2-3 start of the game for Fort Lee with their offense still looking for their first hit of the game. It's 1-0 the score for Fairlawn as we head to the top of the second inning here in Fort Lee. Top of the second inning here. It's Fairlawn leading 1-0. As Emma Schulman starts her second inning of work inside the pitching circle. Schulman allowed one infield single and then had a couple of errors behind her that led to that run scoring all the way from first. Fairlawn getting aggressive when they've got it on the bases. Caitlin Welch will lead off this inning. First baseman batting from the left side for Fairlawn. Jammed inside and missing outside the zone. 3-0 the count. Welch is a junior, .304 hitter on the season, 1 home run, 5 RBIs on the year. Swing and a miss. Out in front that time, expecting fastball, got changeup instead. Welch went 3 for 3 with a double against Passaic Valley in their last game earlier this week. And that one is low and outside for ball 4. And that'll be a leadoff walk for the Cutters to begin the top of the second inning. First walk of the game surrendered by Schulman. That'll bring up Isabella Grassi, the sophomore, .276 hitter on the season. Collected 8 total hits on the year. First ball swinging. Will line that one and drop that into shallow right field for a base hit. So Fairlawn has the first 2 runners on to begin the top of the second inning. That time Fort Lee just couldn't get over in time to make that play. As ranging over was Paige Eno and just kept on drifting more into shallow right field. Here's a sacrifice bunt attempt. Schulman will field her position, throw down to Hausman. So the one out is procured by Fort Lee, but the runners advance down to second and third with only one out in the inning. So sacrifice bunts dropped down by Eva Uziali, and that brings up Izzy Villegas, a junior who went 1 for 2 against Passaic Valley in their last game. RBI opportunity here. Hit a slow roller, and that's going to be taken. A run will score on the play. So an RBI ground out there by Villegas, and now it's a 2-0 lead for Fairlawn with a runner moved down to third base and 2 outs in the inning. 6-3 RBI ground out. Brings up now the 9th place hitter in the Fairlawn lineup in Amanda Alexander. So Villegas did what she wanted. She got the ground ball and was patient running there for Fairlawn as well. They didn't break immediately into home plate. When the ball was hit to the shortstop, they waited for Jamie West to commit to making that throw over to first, and then they broke for home. And the follow-up throw was not in time to get the base runner who was touching on home plate. Shulman trying to limit the damage to only 1 run here in the second. That one is driven out, and it's going to bring home another run here for the Cutters to straightaway center field. So Amanda Alexander with an RBI single. Second hit of the inning, third hit of the game for Fairlawn. And the Cutters have played at home 2 runs here in the top of the second inning. Alexander driving in her second run of the season. That brings up Morgan Hayes as that ball got away from the catcher and allows the base runner to get down to second base as well for Fairlawn. Hayes is 0 for 1 this afternoon. Had a ground out back in the first inning to Jenna Yang down at third. Hot shot. Just whistled foul down that third base line. Three 3-0 lead for Fairlawn here this afternoon. Both schools in the Big North Conference, but in separate divisions. Ground ball, handled by West at short, will throw over in time for the third and final out of the inning. But Fairlawn strikes again. They get an RBI ground out first by Izzy Villegas, and then an RBI single by Amanda Alexander to plate home 2 more runs as we head now to the bottom of the second inning. A 3-0 lead for Fairlawn here on the road. Bottom of the second inning as Castillo will lead things off here for Fort Lee. They were retired in order to begin this game back in the bottom of the first inning. Ava Lee Castillo, the Fort Lee catcher, stepping in and behind the count. Castillo, a sophomore, part of this very young team. is growing in experience. Again, started off the season 0-3, but since have rebounded. 3 consecutive wins on the season for Fort Lee. Have got them back to 500 on the year, 3-3 overall. McNamara's offering missed to the outside edge. No, they're going to say that did actually hit the outside corner against Castillo, who was frozen. The way that she had looked, it looked like it might have been a little bit on the outside, but too close to take, and Castillo is retired with a backwards K. Second strikeout of the game for McNamara. That'll bring up Emma Schulman, trying to help her own cause out. Schulman's been a mainstay in the Fort Lee starting lineup so far this season. And getting her first start as the pitcher here today. As Schulman's been doing her dirty work as the third baseman and doing it quite well as well for Fort Lee, the sophomore. Was a part of that comeback against Hackensack earlier this week. Stepping in from the right side. 1-2 the count against Schulman. Schulman will ground that one softly down to third. Be a tough play, thrown over the diamond in time. Nice play there by Welch, digging out the offering from Alexander. Schulman is retired with a 5-3 putout. And Kendall McNamara is now 1 out away from getting through 2 scoreless innings of work. I'll bring up Bella Plout, second baseman. Another one of the many freshmen that are in this lineup for Fort Lee. Swings through that one and does not connect. Now 2 strikes against her. 2 strikeouts already in this game for McNamara. And there's strikeout number 3. Another backwards K. She had a pair of those in this second inning. And she has retired all 6 Fort Lee Bridgemen that she has faced to begin this contest. Through 2 innings of play, Fairlawn leads Fort Lee by a score of 3-0 as you watch all the action here on YouTube. We head now to the top of the third inning, 3-0 lead for Fairlawn. Cutters getting on the board, really using their legs in that first inning, a 2-out run production after having the first 2 hitters retired in order. Base runner got on, and then a couple of missed throws allowed her to run around the diamond and eventually score the first run of the game. And then in that last inning, Fairlawn put home 2 runs as well, one of which coming with the 2-out single by Amanda Alexander. Kenzie Davis, who grounded back to Schulman back at her first plate appearance in the first inning, standing in. Center fielder for the Cutters is 0 for 1 this afternoon, hitting from the left side. Fairlawn representing the Big North Independence Division. As Schulman sets in fires, missing just low in that time. Independence Division as Passaic Valley, Wayne Valley, Fairlawn, Lakeland, and West Milford. So Fairlawn really the only team in that division that hails from Bergen County. Everybody else from nearby Passaic County. This season, the Cutters, their 3 wins, 2-0 win in the season opener against Clifton. Then they had a 1-0 shutout victory against West Milford. Took down Lakeland 10-3. As Shulman missing low again, and that's going to be another leadoff walk. Second consecutive inning where Shulman has lost the leadoff hitter. As Davis will take her base to begin the top of the third. Second walk surrendered in this game by Shulman. Brings up Kendall McNamara, the opposing pitcher. McNamara was the one who got on base with 2 outs in the top of the first inning. Stole second base, and then after a couple of errant throws trying to throw her out at third, she came around to score the first run of the game. McNamara had a single back in that first inning. Rounded down to second base. They'll get the lead runner down at second base. Nice flip there with the underhand. Loud getting it over to West. And there's one away here to begin the top of the third inning. 4-6 fielder's choice there for McNamara. She'll take first base. Brings up Amanda Federico, the designated hitter. Federico 0 for 1 this afternoon for Fairlawn. She lined out to short to end the first inning. Federico, again, a senior, .333 hitter on the season, 1 homer, 9 RBIs for the Cutters. She's the power bat. McNamara, again, once again, off and running, and once again, she will steal the base easily. Castillo's throw was a little high there, and McNamara also blessed with tremendous speed. She was going to slide in safely. She's now down at second base with 1 out in the inning. That pitch missed high and outside the zone. Caitlin Welch waiting on deck. She drew a walk back in her first plate appearance in the second inning. Shulman elicits the pop-up. Park tried to range over in center field to make the play. She couldn't get to it in time. Eno will try to back it up. McNamara will round third. She'll score standing up. And that's going to be another RBI on the board for Fairlawn, this time for Amanda Federico. As Fairlawn has extended its lead now to 4-0, batting here with 1 out in the top of the third inning. Good pursuit by Caitlin Park in center field. She was trying to range over more to the right field side, and it just fell in front of her. Ground ball will be taken over to first base rather than to second base. Kind of an interesting decision there. Looked like Plout might have had a little more time that she maybe even thought she had. Want to take the sure way to get that out down at first base, so Welch is retired on the ground out, 4-3 put out. Runner down at second base now with 2 outs here in the top of the third. Ground ball down to Yang at third base, but it was bobbled by Hausman. Could not cleanly hold on to it. So instead of getting out of the inning, that's going to be an error on the field. And this will keep this inning going for Fairlawn. Low throw there by Jenna Yang. You have to think that Yang, the third baseman, would be the one officially given the error on the throwing error rather than Hausman trying to pick it low. And now it's going to be taken high for a ball. 1-0 the count. Eva Nuziali, the right fielder, laid down a sacrifice bunt back in the second inning. Getting a chance to hit here with runners at the corners with 2 away for Fairlawn. That ball got away from the catcher. That's going to allow the runner to progress down from first to second base, but the runner at third held on the play as Castillo couldn't get to it cleanly. Now Fairlawn with runners at second and third with 2 outs here in the top of the third. Shulman trying to get out of this jam, and again, only allowing 1 run in the inning. RBI single by Amanda Federico drove in Kendall McNamara. Shulman again missing a low, and that's going to be a second walk surrendered in the inning. So Shulman's walked 3 so far in this game through 3 innings. And that'll bring up the catcher, Izzy Villegas. Villegas had an RBI ground out her last time up in the second inning. She grounded out to short, but that drove in the second run of the game for the Cutters. Hitting from the right side. Hot shot, foul down the third base line. Shulman's given up only one base hit so far in this inning. Had a lot of foot traffic, though. Walk two, had an error from her defense behind her as well. Trying to get that location down in the strike zone. Again, when she's been missing so far in this game, Shulman's been missing low against batters. Walked one in the second inning and has walked two here in the third. Again, missing low against Vegas. Amanda Alexander, the ninth place hitter in the lineup, who is 1 for 1 with an RBI single in this game. She waits on deck. Shulman missing to the outside. The ball got away from Castillo, and that will not only load the bases, but also give a chance for Fairlawn to score yet another run. It's now going to be a 5-0 lead for the Cutters. They've scored 1 run in the first, 2 runs in the second, 2 more here in the third. And the bases remain loaded. Again, that was ball 4 and walked in the second run of the inning. That brings up Amanda Alexander. Alexander had that base hit to right center field her last time up with 2 outs in the second inning. That gave Fairlawn at that point a 3-0 lead. Shulman missing high and outside. A 5-0 advantage now for Fairlawn. Still batting here, bases loaded, 2 outs in the inning. As Shulman was trying to get to that outside corner. That one is hit to straightaway center field. Park trying to camp out underneath it, but might have lost it in the sun. That's going to score another run for the Cutters. As that will actually bring in 2 more. Runners at the corners now. A 4-run inning here for Fairlawn in the top of the third. That was a high fly ball, but also to shallow center field. Park trying to range in to make the play. And might have lost it in the sunlight. Again, Fairlawn so aggressive, taking extra bases when given the opportunity. So Alexander gets another base hit. Driving in a couple more runs. That brings up again Morgan Hayes, who's batting here. The leadoff hitter is 0 for 2 here this afternoon for Fairlawn. A couple of ground outs. Grounded out to third and grounded out to shorter last time up in the second. Socks that one on a line drive. That's a base hit to left field. That's going to score another run. And we'll bring in 2. 2-run double there by Morgan Hayes, who takes second base as well. As Fairlawn continue to put up the crooked numbers here in the third inning. The lead has swollen to 9. And that's going to be another base hit. This time to left field. That's going to plate home another run in the inning. It's a 7-run third inning so far for Fairlawn. As Mackenzie Davis and Fairlawn have batted around in this inning. I'll bring up Kendall McNamara, who's the beneficiary of all this run production. As McNamara, the starting pitcher in the circle for Fairlawn. McNamara's started off in this third inning with a fielder's choice, but she came around to score the first run. And again, Fairlawn trying to take that extra base. Runner is safe down at second base. Despite West trying to get over in time, the throw was just a little short. 11. as that misses low. So Fairlawn trying to leave no doubt here. They're trying to bounce back after suffering a couple of losses. 7-3 to Park Ridge and 7-0 to Passaic Valley. Flexing their muscles in this inning. That's going to be taken low for ball 4. So McNamara draws the third walk of this third inning. Bring up Amanda Federico. Federico had an RBI single earlier in the inning. Again, her second plate appearance of the third. All speed for a strike there by Schulman. Getting ahead of the count, 0-1. Another pop-up opportunity here for the infield ranging back and making the play for the third and final out of the inning. But a big inning of Fairlawn offense there. As the Cutters strike for 7 runs in the top of the third inning, they will take a 10-0 advantage here as we head to the bottom of the third in Fort Lee. Fort Lee trying to mount the comeback here. They looking for their first base runner of the day as we head to the bottom of the third inning. Kendall McNamara's first offering to Taylor Solis is low and outside for a ball, 1-0. Designated player, number 12, hitting from the right side. Trying to go opposite way that time to the right field and fouls that into the back of the cage, 1-1. So Fairlawn plating home 7 runs in that top of the third inning. 3 walks, 4 walks in that inning really hurt Schulman. And then a couple of base hits, and whenever there's a chance, Fairlawn was up to the opportunity to try to take as many extra bases as possible, too. As that pitch missed high. 2-2 the count. Missed low, the count runs full now, 3-2. And that's going to be a strikeout once again for McNamara. The Solis goes down with the strikeout. 4th strikeout of the game for Kendall McNamara. And there's one away for Fort Lee to begin the bottom of the third inning. As that'll be taken for a strike. Ariana Papafacilio, the left fielder, getting her first plate appearance. Fairlawn a season ago went 13-12, lost to Morristown in the first round of the North 1 Group 4 state playoffs. Coming here to Fort Lee in the midst of a 2-game losing skid against Park Ridge and Passaic Valley. That is fouled into the catcher's mitt. Papa Facilio hitting 8th in the lineup here today for Fort Lee. First plate appearance of this afternoon against Kendall McNamara. McNamara's rise ball out of the zone, and Papa Facilio will draw a one-out walk here for Fort Lee and become the first base runner for the Bridgemen this afternoon. A runner on first with one away in the bottom of the third, and that'll bring up Paige Eno, the right fielder, hitting 9th for Fort Lee in the lineup here today. First ball swinging, nubs that one. McNamara will range over and make a play. Welch did an outstanding job of doing the full-on split there to extend out to try to cut down on that throwing angle. Nice play by the pitcher McNamara again of going down the third base side to field that kind of swinging bunt and throw out Paige Eno. 2 away in the inning. Lead runner now down to second base for Fort Lee as Jenna Yang steps in. Yang is the starting third baseman here this afternoon, the leadoff hitter. Fouled out to the first baseman in her first plate appearance, 0 for 1. Now another strike against her. Yang has been the primary pitcher so far this season. Michelle Kim, who was the outstanding pitcher in previous years, has been out injured so far this season for Fort Lee as Yang sends that one on a line drive. What a grab there! Down the right field line by Fairlawn. Alley making the play, flashing off the leather there and taking away what would have been extra bases potentially for Jenna Yang and would have brought in the first run of the game for Fort Lee. So the Bridgemen strand one there after getting their first base runner of the afternoon. We head to the top of the 4th inning. 10-0 lead for Fairlawn here on the road as you're watching girls softball on YouTube. So some changes now made here for Fort Lee, including a new pitcher in this game. It's going to be Jenna Yang, the freshman. So Yang will move from third to pitcher. Olivia Hausman will move from first to third. Ariana Papavassiliou will move from left field to first base. We'll try to get to the other changes in this game for you defensively. Coming up here in the top of the fourth inning, 10-0 lead for Fairlawn. Right now, the Cutters would be potentially in position for a mercy rule shortened game if this run margin continues here through the fifth inning, as Yang will miss low to the outside. In that last inning for Fairlawn, they had 4 hits, 4 walks. Rounded down to the shortstop, West, and she throws that one away. That's going to be a little too high, and the leadoff runner is going to reach safely here for Fairlawn to start off the inning. So Caitlin Welch, it looks like potentially could have been a ground out victim, but will reach courtesy of the error against the shortstop. So Welch is on, takes the extra base after the throw got away into the fair territory. Going to bring up Isabella Grassi. Grassi stepping in. Grassi reached courtesy of an error last time up, after it was a low throw from Yang that Hausman couldn't field cleanly down at first base. That also kept the inning going. Grassi also had a single in her first plate appearance back in the second inning. Snagged down initially by Yang, will knock it down, throw over in time for the first out. Base runner will advance down to third, so there's a runner at third with 1 out here in the top of the fourth inning, after Grassi rounded out to the pitcher. Ava Nuziali, the right fielder, had the sacrifice bunts back in the second inning, drew a walker last time up in the third. Weak grounder got underneath the glove. An unlucky bounce there for Fort Lee. It also took a carom off of the second base bag. It was going to score the runner from third regardless, but there might have been a play to throw her out at first, but that took a carom off the second base bag. That's going to be an RBI single for Nuziali. And Fairlawn increases their lead now to 11-0, with 1 out here and a runner down at first in the top of the fourth inning. Villegas lays off that rise ball high and outside the zone, 1-0. So an unearned run there for Jenna Yang since coming into this game. That's a chopper. Foul down the third base line. Villegas trying to swing through that one. Whiffed on that attempt, says that's going to be a second strike against her. And that time, another swing and a miss as Villegas will go down. First strike out of the game for Fort Lee pitching. Jenna Yang racks up the K. 2 away here in the top of the fourth inning. That'll bring up the ninth place hitter, Amanda Alexander. Alexander 2 for 2 in this game. Dropped a base hit that drove in 2 runs in the last at-bat back in the third inning, after Park was trying to make a play on it from center field. Also had a RBI single back in the second inning, so Alexander hitting 9th in the lineup. The third baseman has driven in 3 runs in this game. Swings and misses as Yang just having some of these pitches just dropping drastically outside the strike zone. It's fooling the Fairlawn hitters. First time that they're seeing her, as she's coming to this game after Emma Schulman began the play. Chopped foul to the left side of the third base bag. Yang looking into Castillo to see what sign it is. Looking for that third and final out of the inning. That one got away, and that's going to allow, again, the runner to head down to second base. So despite being up 11 runs, Fairlawn is not taking their foot off the gas. Not messing around here today on the road on a beautiful Friday afternoon, just under 70 degrees at opening pitch, 68. Beautiful sunny day here in northern New Jersey. That one is fouled into the back of the backstop. So again, 2 strikes against Alexander. With the runner down in scoring position now with 2 away. Again, that's a rocket shot. That's a base hit, and that gets through the wickets of the outfielder and roll all the way to the wall. That's going to drive in the second run of the inning for Fairlawn. RBI triple now for Amanda Alexander. Give her a 3-for-3 day with 4 RBIs as Fairlawn adds to their lead. Brings up Morgan Hayes, a leadoff hitter. 2-run double her last time up. She's 1 for 3 this afternoon. Another hot shot. Foul down the third base line. Fairlawn will have a tough matchup tomorrow awaiting them as they'll be hosting Ramsey on Saturday. Yang's offering inside, just a little too in tight. Fort Lee will travel to Demarest tomorrow for their next contest. Softly popped up, but behind the backstop of the cage. And out of play for a simple and harmless foul ball. And the first run was an unearned run against Jenna Yang, but in this inning, another run just played at home on the triple by Amanda Alexander. Swing and a miss. And now they're going to complete the strikeout, throwing down to first, and they do so to get out of the inning. So Jenna Yang gives up 2 runs since coming into this game, also produced the first 2 strikeouts of the contest for Fort Lee. Fairlawn grows their lead to 12 as we head to the bottom of the 4th inning. Bottom of the 4th inning, as Caitlin Park will lead things off for the Bridgemen. 2, 3, and 4 hitters due up here for Coach Straub's side. As Kendall McNamara keeps on rolling along, she's allowed only 1 base runner to reach base safely here so far this afternoon. Swing and a miss, and now quickly ahead 2 strikes against Park. Papa Facilio was the only one who's reached base safely when she had that 1-out walk in the last inning in the 3rd inning. McNamara is not allowed a hit so far in this game for the Cutters. Park ricochets that into the back of the backstop. Still 2 strikes against her. Once again, fouled into the back of the cage. As Park trying to get that first elusive hit of the game for Fort Lee. As we mentioned, Fort Lee had a slow start earlier this week against Hackensack, but did not fall behind by as many runs as they find themselves here today. Fairlawn has feasted on errors as well as hard hits and aggressive base running. And that's going to be a shallow fly ball to straightaway center field, and the first hit of the game for the Bridgemen. As Caitlin Park will lead off the 4th inning with a base hit. That'll bring up Olivia Hausman. Hausman, who began the game at first base, now hitting as the 3rd baseman in this game. She lined out in her first plate appearance. That pitch falls in for a strike against Hausman, 0-1. Hausman was robbed of what would have been an extra base double that would have also plated home a run back in the 1st inning, lined out to deep right field. Swing and a miss by Hausman. That inside corner pitch for McNamara. 4 strikeouts in the game for the Fairlawn pitcher. Winds and fires as Hausman, a towering pop-up, well in foul territory. That'll go out of play. After this one, Fort Lee will start a 3-game road trip. As Hal's been trying to lay off that one and got away from the catcher, Villegas, and that'll allow Park to venture down to second base. Fort Lee with the runner in scoring position with nobody out here in the bottom of the 4th inning. And there's strike 3 called on the outer edge of the plate. 5th strikeout of the game now for McNamara. There's 1 away. After this game, Fort Lee will travel to Demarest and then also will travel to Dumont next Tuesday, at Ridgefield Park next Wednesday, before coming back home to face Dwight Morrow on May 1st. So 2 out of the next 3 games will reside in the American Division. Ridgefield Park, a perfect 3-0 start to divisional play in the Big North American. Dumont behind them 2-1. Fort Lee 2-1 as well in league play. Cliffside Park 1-3, and Dwight Morrow 0-3. Pop up in the infield and ranging over to make the play is the shortstop Hayes, and now there's 2 outs here in the bottom of the 4th inning. Castillo was retired. She's 0 for 2 this afternoon. As that's going to be taken low for a ball. A swing and a miss. And a check swing. That got away from the catcher again and allows Park to get down to third base now. That time swinging high, and what looked like it was going to be outside the zone. 2-2. Led to the strikeout, and that's going to be the 3rd out of the inning. So Fort Lee strands a runner down at third base. Fairlawn will take a 12-run lead with them into the top of the 5th inning. As you're watching all the action of Fort Lee softball here on your Fort Lee Athletics YouTube channel. Top of the fifth inning. As Fairlawn trying to finish things off here. It's going to be a strike as Yang is brought back into the game for the second inning. And Shulman pitched the first 3 innings. Jenna Yang took over in the 4th inning and now heading here to the top of the 5th. Check swing. Yang will handle it, throw down to first, and that won't be able to be fielded cleanly. And once again, Fairlawn will have that leadoff runner reach safely to begin an inning. Outside of the first inning, which saw the first 2 cutters retired in order, Fairlawn has been able to have the leadoff runner reach safely via errors or base hits and walks to really plague Fort Lee's tough day at the office. That pitch goes low, gets away from the catcher, and again the runner will head down to third. As Davis had reached safely. Once again, it's Kendall McNamara, the starting pitcher for Fairlawn. Had a single back in the first inning. Grounded into fielder's choice in her first plate appearance in the third, but then got another chance and drew a walk in the third. Lays off that pitch. McNamara showed off not only her pitching talents, but also just her athleticism. Very fast runner. When she has got it on, she has swiped extra bases. And she will be on base again, drawing another walk. First 2 reach safely here to begin the top of the 5th inning for Fairlawn. Courtesy of an error and a walk. That'll bring up Amanda Federico, the designated player here today. Federico lined out to short, also had an RBI single and popped up to the second baseman. Now, if you're Fairlawn, you're up by 12 runs. I wouldn't expect to see maybe ultra-aggressive base running right now and trying to swipe that second base. Round it down to third. Hausman lofts it over. That's going to be an RBI ground out as the runner just patiently waited and crossed home plate. Behind the play, Federico with another RBI after the 5-3 ground out. McNamara will advance down to second base on the play. 1 out here in the top of the 5th inning. 13-0 now. Fairlawn leads Fort Lee. As that's fired into the zone for a strike to get ahead of the count against Caitlin Welch. Welch has been on base twice in this game, drew a walk in the second. Reached base safely last time on the throwing error by West at short. Also grounded out to second base back in the third. And there's strike 3 on the outside edge. Nice pitch by Jenna Yang, freezing Caitlin Welch, who was trying to expect something more to the inner portion of the plate. Third strikeout for Yang since coming into this game. 2 away in the inning now. Brings up Isabella Grassi. Ground ball smothered by West will range over and throw for the third and final out of the inning. Fairlawn scores 1 more run and will take that lead into the bottom of the 5th inning as they're in position for a potential mercy rule win. Head to the bottom of the fifth inning now here in windy but very pleasant Fort Lee, New Jersey. Fort Lee taking on the Fairlawn Cutters here today. Fellow Big North Conference opponents, but two different divisional teams. Second baseman is going to be Bella Plout, leading off here, the bottom of the fifth inning. Plout was a strikeout victim in her previous plate appearance back in the second inning for Fort Lee. So certainly this game is, and this result's going to be a frustrating one for the entire Bridgman team based off of all that good momentum, the good vibes that they have been building on this three-game win streak, but they got to flush it out of their system and out of their memory banks as they try to turn the page tomorrow when they take on the Norsemen of Demarest. As that off-speed pitch falls into the zone for a strike. Looks to be a new pitcher in this game now for Fairlawn. Olivia Redfern, number 18, the junior, inside the circle after Kendall McNamara went 4 innings of work, allowed no runs on 1 hit, struck out 6, walked 1. That one is hit to the deep hole in short. Nice defensive work there, not only by the shortstop, but also by the first baseman, still with a foot on the bag. Loud is retired for the first out of the inning. There's one away in the bottom of the fifth. First ball swinging and getting grounding. That one down to the second baseman, over in time, and there's 2 outs in the inning. As Taylor Soholis grounded out to second. I want to bring up Ariana Papavasilio, who's the first base runner of the day back in the third inning with a walk, a 1-out walk for the Bridgmen. As that's taken low. Our next broadcast for Fort Lee Athletics will be on Tuesday afternoon, April 25th. Dumont traveling to take on the Fort Lee baseball team. We'll be bringing you the sights and sounds here on YouTube for that one. Our next softball broadcast will be the next home game for the Bridgmen on Monday, May 1st, as they entertain Dwight Morrow trying to sweep away the Maroon Raiders in their 2 regular season matchups this season. That's popped up right back to Redfern in the pitching circle for the third and final out of the fifth inning. And that will be the final out of the game as well. A dominant performance on the road here this afternoon for Fairlawn as they take down the Bridgmen of Fort Lee. With a loss, Fort Lee will fall to 3-4 on the season. With a victory, Fairlawn will improve to 4-6 on the season. So thank you, everybody, for supporting these proud student-athletes from both fine institutions by tuning in and watching this New Jersey softball action here, courtesy of the Fort Lee Athletics Department. So for Renee Matisich and Dimitri Nanis, I'm Dan Long saying so long from Fort Lee, and we'll see you next time here on YouTube.